Apart from the financials, which I know is significant, how important is the fact that there's processes and procedures and standards and methods all documented and kind of at least formulated in some way, shape, or form, so when the new company comes in, there's, it's an easy ramp up because they have all those standards in place?
In most cases, the buyers are not as concerned about that, because the buyer's mentality, number one and foremost, is they are smarter than the seller. They're gonna know how to run the seller's business better than the seller does. And from our viewpoint, that's a good thing.
Right.
Because if they didn't have that attitude, they'd never buy a business.
Right.
And if they didn't have that attitude, they wouldn't be sitting there at the table looking at the seller and looking at the business. Because when they have that attitude, they're thinking, I can come in and I can take the business from here and take it up to here. And that's the attitude as an entrepreneur or as a buyer you need to have. Nobody wants to buy a business and keep it here and keep it stagnant. You always want to grow. If you're going to buy a business and keep it here, all you're doing is buying a job. So from our viewpoint, it's great, and it's going to maximize and bring more value to the business, but it's not a critical thing.
Okay.
Everybody should have Art's number in their phone, and no matter what business. Listen, we're all can grow organically, and it takes a while. But really, the people who have really jump-started things are people who can just acquire.
Right.
And whatever business you're in, you should think about acquisition. Maybe it comes in the form of a joint venture. Maybe it comes in different forms. But you always should be looking at, you know what? If I had this law firm that has these many clients, maybe I should just buy this 4-person law firm and grow it. Well, I just have to make sure I have the equity and financing to do it. But you should be pointing to a goal of trying to grow, and that's the way you can. We're going from A to Z like this, but that's the way you're at A, and all of a sudden you're at D. And yeah, you have to pay back the seller, and you have some financings, but it's truly a business model to really get you really jump started.
Can I ask questions? To follow up to what you just pointed out, I have a lot of clients that acquire properties, commercial, for example, and other, with the intention of selling, acquiring for resale purposes. Can you comment on opportunities to acquire businesses, for example, at a discount and to resell? I mean, if you have clients that's a part of their business model?
Yes, yes. And that's, all business owners should be looking at that model and thinking that way with what David said. And if you go out and search for a business that's already listed for sale, if you're looking at that type of a business, if you own a business and you're going to acquire a business and bring into your business, and especially if it would be like a competitive type business, you've already got a huge advantage, because that business has been priced to sell to Mr. John Doe, downsized corporate executive. If you already own this business over here, which is similar to this business that's for sale, you're a synergetic type buyer. Okay, you're going to buy this business that's priced at $1 million because it's making $400,000 in what we refer to as cash flow. Well, that $400,000 in cash flow, when you buy it, is actually going to be about $500,000 or $600,000 to your bottom line. So you actually bought that business based on the way it was priced at a discounted value. So buying a business, growing by acquisition is dynamite for a business.
And the final
Especially
question,
right now because it's cheap.
And the final question
It's
is,
cheaper.
well, I almost lost my train of thought there, but
I don't know if I answered your question
you did.
exactly.
You did.
Well,
Yeah.
Dr. Walker, you were thinking of the question.
The question was, can you just comment on financing also that may be available, just in a general sense for business?
No.
Okay. We'll talk
after. Financing is probably one of the most difficult parts that's going on today. Okay, and the reason being, it's what President Obama's been doing, what the SBA's doing, what everybody's doing is trying to get the money out there so the banks will lend it. Well, fortunately, they gave the banks the money, but they didn't put out there what they really wanted them to do with it. And the real problem is it's not so much that the banks don't want to lend the money, but the secondary market is the problem. And what the banks have been doing for the last many years is they'll lend you the money and then they'll turn around and sell your note to
Right.
you, to Pete. Okay, well, Pete's market, he's saying there's not enough money in there anymore, there's too much risk, there's this, that, I'm not buying it anymore. So the banks are stuck holding the note.
Which makes them very conservative lenders.
What is,
Very
so
conservative.
the only way they're gonna make that loan is, you know, the old saying, if you don't need the money, then we'll lend it to you, that kind of a scenario. So that's what's really made it difficult. Now that's starting to loosen up. According to the SBA lenders we work with and some of the banks, the secondary market is starting to come back again. So that is starting to work. Right now, the best financing available is seller financing.
Yeah.
The reason I asked the question, I deal with community banks. And I deal with
Much
some,
better.
right, I deal with some of the big banks, but the community banks, they'll bet on the horse and not on the race.
Yes.
If they know that this is a guy who can run the deal because of their relationship with this guy, it doesn't matter as much about which deal. They're gonna put their money on him. So, so I was just curious about the kind of loans that you see happening with your sales. Are they cash deals primarily, or where's the money coming from?
Cash deals are virtually non-existent. I've done one in 9 years.
So most of them seller financing.
Most of, well, today, we're trying to do a lot more seller financing. And I'm a firm believer in seller financing, and especially in your arena, where you have something very tangible, like dirt in a building, that the seller can refinance or take back if the deal goes bad. And the reason that I am so pro seller financing, the banks are difficult to deal with. They don't want to make the loan unless you're the golden fair-haired child. And the seller can make more money. So if you sell your business for $1 million and you finance 700,000 of it, you got that steady stream of income coming in, and you've got a nice chunk of change.